Hello. Hello. Happy Sunday. And welcome to Kancel International Film Festival 2022's Artist Chat, part of our pre-festival gatherings that we've been doing all month this month. And I am so thrilled to see you here today. Well, I can't literally see you, but I can feel you seeing me. Today, our chat, as all our other chats, is presented by Conch Productions. At Conch Productions, our passion is the voice of the Caribbean diaspora and the Caribbean writer. And Conch International Film Festival is an amazing celebration. I'll say it's amazing. You can agree with me. An amazing celebration of the voices of Caribbean diaspora and Caribbean filmmakers. Now, today, our chat is being co hosted by the amazing Maëlla Kancel. Maëlla Kancel is the founder of Karukerament podcast. And if you haven't heard of it, you need to check it out. Karukerament, their mission is to share Caribbean narratives. And I can't think of a better podcast to be our media partner for the Conchal International Film Festival. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi,
How are you
thank you for
today,
having me.
Maëlla?
I'm doing great. It was my birthday this week, so and it was the third anniversary of Karukerament also. So I feel
Party,
great.
party,
Thank you for
party. Did you
having me.
party? Did you party like it was 1999 for your
Like it
birthday?
was 2000. I party like it was 2000.
Okay, okay. Well, Maëlla, I'd love for you to introduce Wally Fall to our conversation. Our guest today is the amazing Wally Fall.
Hello, thank you for such a great introduction. Thank you, Magaly. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
Well,
being with us.
Wally is uh he won the best cinematography award at the Conchal International Film Festival in 2021 with the film Segues. So it's really great to have you here. So I'm going to introduce you a little bit so people can know more about you. So Wally Fall is a filmmaker of a Senegalese and Martinican descent who grew up in Martinique. Um, After taking evening classes on video filmmaking and editing in London, he gained much of his early experience in Europe, in the Caribbean and Africa on many video and TV projects before working on his own ones around 2013. And his first narrative short film was shot in Paris, and he also did a documentary shot in Senegal. In 2016, he founded Cinema Rond, a film collective dedicated to creating new spaces to screen films mostly overlooked from the Caribbean, Africa, and other Afro-diasporic spaces. Since 2017, he's back in the Caribbean, in Guadeloupe, where he lives and works. Welcome, Wally.
Thank you. Thank you, Maëlla. Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you, both of you, actually, because Maëlla was really supportive of the work of CSIFF2021 from the very start. She's part of the journey.
And as an honor to the amazing work that you did, I want to entice people to get to know you better by giving them a sample of your amazing work. Let's see
Okay.
the trailer from Fouilles Étoiles, which translates into Plowing the Stars. Ah! All right. All right. I love this film. I have an amazing passion for experimental film, and the passion in your film was breathtaking.
Thank you.
Breathtaking.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you sharing this film with our film festival. Now,
Thank
tell
you.
us more. You're based in Guadeloupe, right?
Yes, yes. I'm based in Guadeloupe.
So I've never been to Guadeloupe. I'd love to know what the perception of the arts and film is in the Guadeloupean community. Do they treasure film? Do they treasure the arts? What's your journey as an artist based in Guadeloupe like?
It's a bumpy journey,
Mm.
but I believe it's roughly similar to many other parts of the world where we come from far. I think we come from far because um, we are in a period where we're trying to make our own stories heard um, without um, without being too much absorbed by other uh, I mean, to say it's very very plain, when you make films in Guadeloupe or in Martinique, because we are French territories, you receive funding from French institutions, and in general, I mean, it tends to be changing. It tends to to change a little bit, but still, it's still difficult to make our stories sound legitimate to those people. You know,
I think we all
so
know that story,
yeah,
right?
yeah, So I mean, first you have the struggle to make your story. Yeah, I mean, to make yourself understood. People most of the time there is a misperception that makes that they're not interested in our stories to say it's, but that's my opinion. They're not really interested unless they see it works somewhere, and usually it has to work somewhere else before they can say, oh, maybe we can do something with it. I'm talking
So
about
you're
France.
saying that
I'm
the
talking about
Guadeloupean or the funders or the
I'm talking about
financiers saying that?
no, I'm talking about France in general,
Okay.
because if you want to do things the way they're supposed to be
Mm.
done with
And what does that
funding,
mean?
which
Comme
means
il faut. What is comme il
coming
faut? As it
coming
should
for
be done.
how it should be done means if you want to do by the book, you're gonna go and look for funding to do your film. Um, when you do that, because we are, as I said, a French territory, the main public funding institutions are French institutions. Okay, so it means that generally the people sitting in the committees over there are mainly made of French people. Some of them tend to be more and more black people in those institutions, more people from the Caribbean, even if they live in France. But then, so there is an effort that is being made so the people in those committees can have a better, a more understanding ears, when they listen to you pitching your project. Okay, so there is
Mm.
some improvements. It's still slow. So I'm saying, if you want to do things by the book and you go that way, it's going to be a long and hard and bumpy road. It doesn't mean it's not a long and bumpy road if you don't do it. It's even harder, because
Yeah.
if you don't do it by the book, then you have to invent strategies to find funding, in maybe private, um, from the private sector, from people that want to invest in films. You do crowdfundings, people do that, but crowdfunding cannot give you the amount of money you need to do a feature film, for example. You can do that easily for a short film. It's harder for a feature, especially when you are a newcomer. So it means, but the price of even if the price to go not by the book way is high, even if the price is high, what you gain doing that is you gain a bit more, maybe some authenticity that you might lose on the other way. When you go through institutions after the institutions, and they question and question and question your choices that are very very basic choices of setups, of actors, of just the storyline. Some people
So
have
they
heard.
interfere in the process?
Of
I mean, you
course, of
present your
course,
idea, you give
of
your, oh,
course,
wow.
of course. It means, for example, I'll give you an example. Somebody told me recently that their project went through a commission for funding, and some people question them on why is it that the person is talking about the beach only at the page 17? Understand how far it can go? How come we don't see the beach before page 17? So that might be an extreme example, but that kind of stuff does exist today, because the kind of
Wow.
people that some people, not all of them, because I'm saying it's changing, but still you have still in 2021, 2022 people asking, why is it that we don't see the beach before? Because you say you're pitching a story about a set in Martinique or in Guadeloupe. How come we don't see the beach before? Understand? That's
So if
ridiculous,
you're in
right?
the Caribbean, you have to have the beach. So if you're in
Of
France, you
course,
have to have
of
the
course,
Torre Eiffel, right? You
of
have to
course,
have,
exactly,
you
exactly.
have to have the Louvre because
That's
you're in France, right?
that's
Is
about
that
it.
what they do
Yeah,
for them?
that's about it. So you have to make a choice, or you have to, or anyhow you choose, you have to really have a strategy in your head.
Yeah.
And
So what was your
big,
strategy with
I mean,
Fouilles
with
Étoiles?
Fouilles Étoiles, our strategy was to go below the radars. We started it as an experiment, as I love to say it, because that's what it was. When we met up with Agnès was back then still living in Haiti, where she had been living for a few years.
Agnès Noël was
Agnès
the
Noël,
writer of the film.
the writer of the beautiful text of the film.
Yes.
And the lead
Lead
actress also.
and lead actress. Thank you. When we met up in December 2018, she came back home for season holidays, and we sat down, and because she said, "Oh, let's do something. We need to do something. We need to." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do something." So we met up. And we just put on the table the ideas we wanted to put in that work that we were talking about. We wanted to talk about history, transmission, the fact that the youth was going away and not coming back. The country is emptying itself. All this kind of stuff. Our relationship to each other and to our history, the love we have for each other. All this kind of stuff. But we wanted to say it on our own terms. We didn't want to go through any kind of commission that would question any choice we made. That was really paramount for us in whatever would come out of it. We didn't know where we were going because it started, very blurry. We wanted to do something. We didn't know what kind of form that would be at the end, but we knew we wanted to do something, and that's what kept moving us, So, and that's why as well we couldn't, have a really beautifully crafted dossier that we would end out to commission and wait for them to say, okay, we give you something or not. We wanted to do something no matter what, and with whatever money we would find or means or or people, and that's what we did. So that's why it was made the way it was made, and it wasn't, we couldn't turn the other way, because it was so, we were moving one step after the other, and it's only along the way that we realized that it would be something with a very hybrid or hybrid, I don't know how you say it in English, hybrid form. Would be narrative, but not only, and there would be archives, there would be a sense of trying to document something about realities, and because there was a text that was supposed to guide the whole thing, there would be some kind of poesy, I don't know, poetry, sorry.
I mean, the film is actually, the narration is in Creole, which is very rare for Guadeloupean films right now. I think it's going to change, but the fact that it's in Creole, it speaks to the fact that you said that you decided to do it in Creole and there was no one to tell you to change it and to do it in French, for instance.
Exactly.
So that makes the film even more authentic because we hear the language, a language that we speak every day, that we don't see on screen. We don't hear on screen. I don't know if it makes sense in English, but we don't hear it in
As you could tell, we have the pleasure of having some wonderful French-speaking artists here. So I'm hoping that they speak in French, so that'll give me a reason to speak French too, so that I'm not forcing them to speak my language. Because quite frankly, you know, as we know, the Caribbean is a multilingual area, and we represent multilingual artists.
Yes.
And I want to thank you so much for having the integrity to tell the story that you wanted to tell in the way that you wanted to tell it. And I'd love to know how instrumental film festivals like Kancel International Film Festival are for making a space for films like yours to go mainstream. What has your journey been like with Feuilles Étoiles, Plowing the Stars?
Feuilles Étoiles, we put it online right after we finished it. When it was finished, we decided to put it online for free, you know, because and it was a statement. It was a statement to just to say, okay, we did something that we wanted to put out there, and because, as I said, we didn't want. I mean, no disrespect to film festivals, we didn't want to wait for film festival to select the film for it to be seen. We wanted to just offer the film to our fellow Caribbean, Guadeloupean, Martinican, and everybody around us. We wanted to offer them the film.
I'm Haitian.
Of course.
Haitian,
The whole,
parler en créole, tout le monde parle en créole.
Et nous ni bons amis en Haïti, donc nous t'es capable de toutes ces mondes là en fait, bah Haïti, bah Sainte-Lucie et la Dominique, tout le monde. OK?
Et puis Dominique aussi. Dominique parle en créole tout.
Et en fait, c'est pour ça nous fait film là, we did it when we released it on the net, it was only with English subtitles because we said we are in the Caribbean. Our neighbors speak either Creole for a lot of them, or they can understand French. They can understand English. They are English speakers. We are surrounded by English speakers and a few Spanish people. So we thought all of this was a statement. You know, we didn't leave anything up in the air. It was like, okay, we do the film, we put it out there so anyone can watch it and say they love it, they hate it, they don't want to see it anymore, they don't want to hear about us, or the opposite. And then let's wait and see what happens with that, you know? That's what we wanted to do. So, and that didn't prevent the film to go abroad and to go into festivals and to end up being into beautiful festivals like yours, where people are just making a very important work of showcasing whatever there is in the Caribbean that is so difficult to hear about, actually, because we are tiny dots, you know. But at the same time, there are many of us. We are everywhere in the world, really. So at the same time, we shouldn't have any complex about the size of our tiny dots, you know. On the opposite, I think we should be proud of them and be proud to show what they have to say to the world, you know, and about the world. So yeah, that's what the whole spirit about it. So as to answer the question, really, I think your festival played a big part into that whole. It gave us it made us right, really. Actually, you know, it proved us right. It proved that we were not crazy in thinking that we were all alone in the world. People would eventually catch up with it, you know. So yeah.
And we thank you, and I love the fact that you're setting this example. Dare to be true to yourself, right? Dare to be honest as to what your vision is, for what your story is, for what is your narrative.
Yeah.
And Maëlla, I want to thank you so much for saying, wake up, Look at this man. Check it out. How did you two meet?
Well, I watched the film when it was free, actually. So I just ended up watching it, and the first time, uh, I almost cried at the end of the film because, unlike you, I'm not into experimental films and all that. That's not my thing. But I felt so moved by the story, and I felt represented for the first time, actually. Because most of, like Wally said, most of Guadeloupean films, and I'm really specific about Guadeloupean films. I don't know about Martinique, but the films, the representation that we have, it's always very negative and violent, and it's not ordinary people. It's always the extreme, those who are dealing with drugs and violence and death, and that's just not that has never been my reality. I mean, I know it exists in Guadeloupe, but that has never been my reality. And when I watched the film, I was like, wow. So there's someone in Guadeloupe who understands what we are, who we are, and who managed to create something so beautiful about it. And I don't want to give away the end of the film, but the last sequence of the film gives me so much hope that we can do something and we can create something, we can build a better future. And I wrote a review on my blog, Karukerament.com. It's also available in English. And so I tagged Wally, I think, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he read it and was like, thank you. And then I kept talking about it all the time, every time. And then when the opportunity for the festival came up, I asked him if he wanted to join the festival. So that's how we never met, actually.
Yeah, never met in person, actually. Never met in person. But I mean, yeah, as Maëlla was saying, I never take all this kind of support for granted, you know. It was really precious every time we got some attention from people writing blogs or from journalists or from film festivals or from whoever. I really took it personally and collectively as a blessing because the journey to make the film was really full of doubts. You know, I never knew until the end where I was going, really, because I knew the form would be something that I never made myself before. So I was not really comfortable with I don't know if comfortable is the word, but it wasn't an easy one. But at the same time, I knew that this kind of discomfort was really where I wanted to be, you know, because that's where I was growing myself. I could feel it. I could feel that I was learning so much about the craft that I'm doing, you know. And so it was really a great and rewarding experience. And when I read reviews like Maëlla's, I was like, yeah, I mean, it was just making sense because I was like, okay, just like you said, somebody else somewhere in the world really understood so well what we were trying to achieve without having met each other before, without even knowing about each other before that, you know. And yeah, it means that we managed to touch something that is really collective and I don't know. I don't love the word universal, but something like that, you know. It's
Why don't
human.
you love the word universal? Because True Vision just posted wow. I felt wow. I mean, True Vision said wow. We're happy to have True Vision watching us right now. I said wow because, like Maëlla, I mean, I'm Haitian American, and I think the entire African diaspora resonates with the message that you conveyed. Do you know? Resonates with the pain and the journey of the piece. And does Universal describe that, or does something else describe that?
that
Because
that
that's what I
kind
call universal.
that kind of universal I wanted, I'm okay with that
Okay.
one,
Okay.
but the word universal have been so misused at the same time that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people just put everything into universal. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to the African diaspora. I wanted to talk about blackness. I wanted to talk about the beauty of blackness, without
Mm-hmm.
making too too big a fuss about it. It was
Mm-hmm.
just really
Mm-hmm.
plain for me, and it was just to say it really calmly but strongly and firmly, and to say that we are who we are, and and we won't excuse, we won't
Won't
apologize,
apologize.
we won't apologize to be where we are. That's the main thing that was guiding me through that. Well, it was like, okay, if you like it, we are happy. If you don't like it, we're still happy, because we won't change anything about it. And that's really what got me through it.
That's the true artist in you standing up and saying, "I'm taking my place."
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
took
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah, yeah.
place.
That's what it is about, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me more about Cinema One.
Cinema is a collective we founded in 2016. We
Mm-hmm.
were there were the seven of us when we really started, mainly filmmakers or film professionals living still in Paris at the time. And we organized, we wanted basically to create spaces to showcase films from the Caribbean, the African continent, and, as Maëlla said, other Afro-diasporic communities in the world, because we felt it was lacking in our environment, either in Paris or in the Caribbean. I mean, in Paris, you either go and watch African films, or you go
Mm.
into African festivals,
Mm.
or sometimes, if you're lucky, you can find a few Caribbean film festivals, and then you will have a South American film festival. And then, we didn't want to choose, because we feel that all those stories have things to talk to say to each other. They can be in conversations, because there is a main thing that unites us all, because there is enough. The African diaspora it's not a myth for us. But we need but we need to understand what it means. It means we are all different, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean we all have to be the same. We are very different sometimes. Most of the
All
time,
the
actually.
time. All
we
the
are we are
time.
always different, but at the same time, that doesn't keep us from finding kinship among
Yes.
each other. That's
Yes.
what it was about. So in Paris, and then in the Caribbean, because in the Caribbean and in the French Caribbean is the same, I think, as our neighbors. The cinema circuit is 90% Hollywood blockbusters film. That's what you watch in film in cinemas. If you want to watch something else, you have to be really into it, and look for it,
Personal.
and
You have to be intentional.
wait for film festivals and stuff like that. Otherwise, it's just Hollywood, and not even the best part of the blockbusters from Hollywood. It's even the way. It's always the worst part. So that's not even. Yeah, it's painful. So yeah, we wanted to create spaces where filmmakers from all those places could, I mean, and us included, could screen our films and meet an audience and have a chat with that audience. And because we believe that is a really growing part of the process, to meet an audience and to have feedback from that audience. However, whatever the feedback is, could be good or bad, but it's really a learning a part of the whole thing. So, and I believe a film doesn't exist until it meets an audience. If you
Yeah.
make a film and you keep it in your cupboard, it doesn't, you don't do, that's not a film. That's something you filmed maybe, but that's not a film yet. Um,
So what
so
is your
yeah.
advice to filmmakers then? Filmmakers, I'm sorry. What is your advice to Caribbean diaspora filmmakers like you who have taken this journey and they are just posting their film on YouTube and offering it for free. What is your advice based on your experience with screening your film in festivals? I mean, you've screened your film in a number of festivals.
Yeah.
Your film has touched the hearts of people across the planet. What
Mhm.
is your advice to them
I don't
to reach your audience, to get the conversation? Is the film festival the place for you to start that conversation?
I really think it really depends on it's always different from one project to the other. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't go into giving general advice. I can only
Yeah.
say that what works for us is the fact that I think we really try to remain true to what we are, without trying to please anyone, without trying to convince anyone. We had something to say, we said it, and that's it. Then we move on to something else, because there was this urgency, to say something about the moment in which we live in. And that's only what we did, and then the strategy comes afterwards, or it can start before, actually. If you are surrounded by people who are into marketing and stuff, you can think about it. That doesn't do any harm, but as long as it's the marketing serving your film and not your film trying to fit into some project, I think you have a number of tools today to help you reach or find an audience. And some films, I think some films it's better if you try and look for film festivals to showcase them first, and then maybe you wait before you put them on the internet. And for some other films, that doesn't work like that. You can just put them online and see who you can catch like that. I think both ways work in different manners, and but there is not a single way to make yourself heard, I think.
There's no single way for anything.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Of course.
Please.
Filmmakers, please at least have a bio or a page, because that's something Wally did on the Cinéma page. I had the history of the film. I knew exactly how it started. I knew exactly how they created the film. So when I wanted to talk about it, I wanted to write my review, I had content to link back to what I was saying. So I knew exactly where the film came from. So it's really important, though. Even if you said it may come after, it may come after you put the film online, but still have something that we can work with, so we can talk about you and we can show other people. Be like, you go to this page and you will find, and this person is this, they do that, they've been doing this, they're planning to do that. It makes it easier for us.
So it sounds like you're both saying, follow your vision, have a vision.
Yeah.
Tell your story, but understand the world needs your story. So don't just share your story with a couple of friends. Create a framework so that the world can learn a bit more about humanity through your story. And I totally am an advocate of film festivals, because not only do I produce a film festival, but I'm in love with film festivals. I mean, I'm a film festival attendee to the point where I'm attending the Sundance Film Festival this weekend and all week, because I just love film. And I love the conversation that you said that you desired, Wally. And so tell me what your favorite memory, that's my little button, of Kancel International Film Festival 2021 was, if you have a favorite memory.
But my favorite memory was to receive be awarded, because I mean, to receive an award for best cinematography was like, I was miles away from that, because and somebody was asking me, how did you work with your cinematographer? Somebody asked me that yesterday. I said, we didn't have a cinematographer. I shot the film myself, because that's how experimental the process was.
You were the cinematographer.
Yeah, I told you
It
that
was
in
your
the beginning.
vision.
Yeah. I mean, I did it because we started with Agnes. So
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna go and try and find someone and make them fit into that
Mm.
experiment we had with Agnes. We just went and
Mhm.
shot. Obviously, we had other friends around us to guide us and to
Mhm.
make a team. Friends that are part of the Cinema One family, actually. But so it was a collective project. But I did the images because that was a way to not having to explain too much about what we wanted to do. And sometimes Jonathan, who is part of the collective as well, held the camera at some points as well, and because it was like, let me do one. I think I have an idea. Okay, go ahead, because it was really like that. So it was a surprise for me to have an award, especially on the cinematography, because I don't even. I'm happy about the film. I'm proud about the film. I wouldn't, but I can't tell you much about the cinematography or the images because I did them, and I did them really, really freely and instinctively.
That's key.
That's what.
Trust your instinct. Your
Yeah.
instinct was on point.
Hmm. So that's it, and you just happy. I was just happy to have an award for best cinematography. I mean, okay, okay, thank you. I was humbled by that. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
that was great.
Yeah, and honestly, and not only do I love film festivals, I love producing and directing and writing films, and the spirit of truth that was in your work, mind-boggling. So is there anywhere that it's screening so that anyone watching this says, I want to see this film? How come I can't see this film? Where are they going to see
Well,
your film in the
the
near
first
future?
the first place where the film can be screened is at home with a video projector plugged to your computer. You screen the films once, twice, three times in a row. That's the first place it
No, no,
can
your
screen.
film. Fouillez votre
Yeah,
étoile.
I
Is
know.
it in the
Because
film festival or is it
no,
online still?
it is online still. It is online
Okay.
still. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can share the link with you, but
Okay.
it's online on Vimeo on our cinema one page. It's there.
Well, put the link in there in this private chat so I can send it. Is it going to be
Okay.
in any festivals in the near future?
I think it's not. It's not. I think it is playing normally next month in Paris. Actually, it's the first time. It's the first time it's playing in Paris. Actually, it's and the second time in France. It was
Okay, I want to
it-
see that first. I don't want to see the link. I want to see where it's showing and type that in there. They need to know. The audience wants to know now.
okay.
Where is it
It's playing
playing?
in a festival called Tigritude, which is actually a film cycle. Um, that
Okay,
is
type it in there.
it's
Type it in there for us.
how can I say that in English?
I
It's
know
a
it.
retrospective. It's a
Regis-
retrospective on 60 years of Pan-African cinema. So it's about films from the African continent, obviously, and the African diasporas. So films from Brazil, from the US, from the Caribbean, and from the Indian Ocean part of Africa too, Madagascar, and and I met one of the programmers 6 months ago. So that's how she heard about Fouilles Étoiles, and they decided to put it at the end of the retrospective, when they get towards the last years of the retrospective. So it's gonna screen on the 23rd of February in Paris.
Okay, I'm typing it right now.
Okay. And it's called Tigritude. It's
I'm
it's uh
putting the link right
it's
there.
inspired by a quote from Wole Soyinka, who said, he was reacting to the movement of negritude, saying, a tiger doesn't claim to be a tiger. It just jump and eat his prey.
Mm,
Understand?
I like that. I like that. Okay, I'm putting it in this.
So,
Tigritude.
tigritude, yeah. So a tiger doesn't claim his tigritude. I don't know if that translates in English the same, but it doesn't claim his tigritude. It's just jump and eat his target.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I like that.
So it started on January the 12th, and it's running up until February the 27th.
Okay, so let me put
The
that in
whole
there.
film, yeah.
January 12th
Yeah,
to February 27th?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm entering that information. Nobody's going to be questioning, where can I see this?
Yeah,
okay.
I mean the whole program is on the website normally. So
there you go. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and share it in the chat. And this is fantastic. Anywhere else? Anywhere else? Give us the truth. Come on, give it to us.
No.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of,
Well, you never know. We're gonna talk. You and I are gonna talk.
Exactly.
Let's talk. Maëlla, final words, my darling. Final questions for our fantastic guest that you introduced me to.
Well, I'm just happy to be alive at the same time of so many talented people who create great stuff that I can watch and I can fangirl about, because that's what I do. I fangirl. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for going through all this hardship and to stay true to yourself, because I know it's hard, and just keep going. Nous ensemble.
Nous ensemble, toujours.
Et vous-même, Wally, ça au besoin dit.
Hey, really thank you for shedding light on our work, on our journey, on our hardships and our joys as well. It's really I'm always happy to talk about it, because I think it's part of the whole thing. I really believe in the fact that, okay, when you do this kind of work, when you are an art, when you consider yourself to be an artist, talking about your work is part of it for me, and I really do it with always great pleasure, because it's always a learning process for me. And I know the road is so long, the road is still so long, individually, but collectively as well, and we need to be more than one to go far, So thank you, Maëlla. Thank you, Magaly, for all the work you're putting into everything you do, because that we exist only through people like you, at the same time, we need people like you around us for our work to meet an audience and to meet a broader audience, to hear about what we do in our small corner, so yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Wally, for joining us, and thank you, Maëlla, for joining me as a co-host for this conversation. I thought we'd speak more Haitian Creole or Martiniquez Creole or Guadeloupean Creole or some French or something, but I go with the flow, I go with the flow. Eh bien, merci tout le monde venu. Merci tout le monde qui est venu pour parler avec nous, pour écouter nous, et all that stuff. Back to English. And for filmmakers out there, Caribbean and Caribbean diaspora filmmakers out there, Kancel International Film Festival is a place for you to submit your film, submit your scripts, to join a community of amazing people like Wally and Maëlla and other great filmmakers who have a story to tell. Believe in yourself, believe in your story. Our deadline for submission is April 15th. You have a number of weeks to say yes to yourself. You owe it to yourself. And you're gonna have fun. We have parties afterwards. I'm not even gonna talk about that, but Maëlla will tell you. We had parties. We have online parties, and it's so much fun. We have like lots of fun. And go to our website www.concheliff.com to learn more. And guess what? Starting in February, we're going to continue with our pre-festival events with screenings. And in February, one of our screenings will be Ryan Lushman Sings Where the Sun Sets. We talked with him yesterday. Check in for the dates, check in for the information, check in for the cost of the very affordable pass to see these films. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, Conchel IFF, for updates. Oh, and by the way, don't be shy. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Till February, be on the lookout. You never know whose film you're gonna come see. All right. So thank you so much, Maëlla. Thank you so much, Wally. I'm going to bring this to an amazing end. I don't even want to end it, but we have to. Au revoir. À bientôt.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.